You know the old saying, good things come in threes? That certainly holds true in some respects. The original Star Wars trilogy is still cherished by many today. Getting a hat trick in hockey is a rare event beloved by all, and the gaming world has its fair share of threesomes. You would be right to think about software that has received 3 or more games like Super Mario, Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil. Those would get more entries as well, but not every trilogy of games hit the target. Mass Effect, anyone? It's uncommon to hear about hardware getting a third go around, but that's exactly what happened when Sega couldn't let go of their past success. It's the Sega Genesis Model 3. Usually systems are likely to get a second and more often than not cheaper variant if it lasts long enough, but Sega decided to milk their most popular system till it couldn't be milked no more, and we got this third model out of it. The Sega Genesis 3, as I believed it was also called, was released in 1998. Believe it or not, it was still going before the turn of the century. This model wasn't actually made by Sega, instead manufactured by Majesco Sales, though you couldn't tell by the front of the box, as it still dons the name of Sega all over the place. They still call it the core system, or maybe Sonic's the only one keeping up that slogan. The flaps on this bluish-green box keep up the long-running theme of the Genesis being the 16-bit video entertainment system. But on the back is where you can see the Majesco logo, the true manufacturers and distributors of this here Genesis, as well as seeing where all the components are made from. This is actually a sticker, so I'm wondering if it's covering up false info or something. But that's not all the back shows, for if we zoom out, we can see it advertise some classic titles for this Genesis, like some Sonic games, Disney games, board games, and 2 other original titles. I think that should set the tone for this model, especially when a game isn't included in the box. But the box must go away for now so we can take a closer look at the Genesis 3 itself. So this is the third model Genesis I'm holding in my hands. To give you an idea how small this is, let's compare the previous 2 versions side by side. This is a Model 1, this is the Model 2, and here is Model 3. Amazing to see how small it has become. You're still able to do the common things like insert a cartridge in the cartridge input, turn the system on and off, and even reset, but there's a few other things that have been taken away from this Sega Genesis 3, which we'll get into in a second. You can still connect 2 controllers to the slots, but this model came with the 6-button type as opposed to the regular 3. An AC review will be coming soon for the 6-button controller, so be on the lookout for that. The only other inputs to be found is the AV out and AC adapter jack. There aren't any other inputs on the sides, which means 2 major things if you are a Genesis guy. For one, there isn't a headphone jack, but that was also done away with on the Model 2, but also missing is the expansion port to connect to the Sega CD, which means you won't be able to play 16-bit games of the CD variety, nor would you be able to play the Sega 32X. But I bet that might be a blessing in disguise to some people. You can still put the mushroom cloud of an add-on into the cartridge slot if you want. Gives you an odd shape of plastic to look at, but still makes it useless by that point. As bland as the front might have been to those of you, the back is no different. All we got here are some screws and several foot pads to prop the system up a bit, but I will give them credit on their label as it has plenty of more stuff going on than your average label. But that's about all there is to the system, so let's see what software it can play. For the most part, the Model 3 Sega Genesis can play just about every Sega Genesis game that was ever released. Like I said, it isn't able to work with add-ons, but it also isn't compatible with other peripherals like the Game Genie, and the special games like Virtua Racing. It is still able to play good titles like Rocket Knight, Road Rash, Marble Madness, and many others, and now would be a good time to try those fighters like Mortal Kombat, now that you have a 6-button controller at your disposal. Too bad they couldn't fit a headphone jack back on it, but if you miss the 16-bit tunage in your ear holes, you can try out the Sega Nomad, the portable option to play Genesis. The Sega Genesis 3 was just an odd release, as it was a small Genesis missing the other components that made it special in both good and bad ways. It wasn't long for the market either, as it only lasted a year. Sega ceased production of the other models 2 years before, so they had some knowledge it was time to leave the good times behind to focus their attention on their swan song in the Dreamcast. While the downsides for getting this model would be not being able to experience the add-ons and a few choice games and accessories, the upsides to owning it would be it's uncommon, and it would be the perfect fit if you're not into the Sega CD or 32X. So if you happen to find one, it's your call if you want to pick it up or not. Finding it in the box is a plus too. I don't think it's too common to find the box for the Sega Genesis Model 3. Man, this thing is so small it could have almost been a handheld. Speaking of which, we're back in handheld territory when Nintendo were still making Game & Watches of all shapes and sizes. And on the next episode we'll take a look at a G&W of familiar shape, but this time having the name of Nintendo's newest boxing series of the time. If you think I missed anything, please leave a comment. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you think others could get knowledge out of this, share this video. And if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Now if you'll excuse me, nostalgia is calling.